Okay, welcome to another episode of Mom Talk. Today we have Emilie Lindsay here with us. She is a registered dietitian, and her daughter is actually really good friends with Victoria's son, Mason.
Yes.
From the Red Barn, of course.
Of
Yes.
course. They're so cute together.
They are like best friends.
Like a
and-
twin flame. Like, I feel like they are so similar.
Yes, they really are. It's just wild, like how they connected.
Yeah, like that fast and that intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And they've maintained it, like, now that they're both in elementary school.
Right,
Yep.
so two different elementary schools, but we're
Yeah.
still keeping in touch, hanging
Still-
out.
Yep. Still
think
talking
that's
about
so
each
sweet.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mason, his nickname is Moose. I don't know how frequently I call him that on here.
Not a lot, I don't think, on here.
But that's like all some people know him as, really, is Moose.
Is that what Aspen calls him?
Yeah, she calls him Moose. It's super cute. So I still ask her, like, who are some of your best friends? And she still says Moose. So it's so sweet. And again, like, she really doesn't always, gravitate towards like another little kid. But she's just always gravitated towards Moose. And I'm so glad she did, because then I got a chance to meet Victoria. I kind of went out on the limb and I was like, hey, do you ever want to do a play date? Aspen is always talking about Moose. Do you ever want to do a play date and just kind of get the kids together? And I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, I am glad I actually said yes, because I'm such a homebody and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. But now I've gone on several play dates.
Yes.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
been
So
good for
we got a
Victoria.
friend out of it too.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you're not from here, right?
I'm not.
Okay, so where are you from?
So I'm from just outside of Chicago, a town called Rockford, Illinois. So it's about an hour northwest of Chicago, so kind of close to the Wisconsin border.
Okay.
So yeah, we moved here a little over a year ago now.
And
so,
what brought y'all here?
kind of a combination of things. My full-time job is I work for the Clarksville VA as a registered dietitian, and I work from home, which I love my job. So when I got the job with the Clarksville VA, I was living in Illinois at the time with our family, and then they did want us to eventually move to Clarksville, which we were fine with. Like, there had just been a lot of crime, to be honest, like kind of getting into our hometown, which was really sad. One of the little kids that we were friends with actually met just very organically at a playground, got to be friends with their parents. They were involved in a carjacking, actually.
That's terrifying.
I know. It was terrifying. And it
Too
was,
close to home.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. Way too close to home. And the public schools, not that great. So having to do private school, 3 kids, private school, it's like, okay.
Right.
This is a lot.
That's a lot.
You had a lot of reasons to be fine moving somewhere.
Yes, exactly. So it was really a big leap, but I'm really glad that we did. And I just feel like I don't know, at least for me, I feel like I have to like kind of put myself out there to, make new friends, make new connections, and especially for your kids to get your kids connected and to help build those friendships and help foster good friendships as well. And I think that's really important. And I try to do that.
I mean, that's a good way through the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, kids are really good at helping you make friends.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What are your kids' ages? As Aspen the oldest?
No, Aspen's actually my middle.
Okay.
She's my Spitfire middle.
Okay.
And I got a Spitfire first.
Yeah.
That's probably why they connect so
Yes,
well.
it
There's
is.
got to be something with a firstborn and a middle.
Maybe that's like the right pairing or something. I don't know.
I've read that book. What's it
Yeah?
called again? The
Birth order book.
The birth order book.
Okay.
I have 2 actually.
Yeah,
yes.
firstborn and the middle go
Yeah.
super well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to read that book.
Oh, it's so good.
No,
Yeah.
you do. It really is
Okay.
interesting. It was a slower read for me because it gets kind of statistical.
Okay.
But
I'm
it is
still quoting it years later.
No,
just
I know.
find it
I think it
fascinating.
is super fascinating. And like Max and Aspen
Yeah.
are pretty close in age. You did
Yes.
the whole 2 under 2 with them.
Right.
And it talks about how sometimes, like, when that happens, you end up with 2 firstborns, personality-wise. Even though Aspen's your middle child,
Yes.
personality, she can have firstborn traits.
Right.
Because she's the first girl.
True.
And they were so close in age. Girls
True.
mature faster than boys. Like,
True.
so you have 2 firstborn.
Yes.
Firstborns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have
absolutely.
boy, girl, and then girl.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Max is 7. So the school cutoff is different in different states. I've realized. So the cutoff in Illinois is actually September 1st, and his birthday is August 21st. So here he had done kindergarten when we had moved here. But he was going to be the youngest one. So we're like, what do we do? Like, do we have him repeat? You know? So we decided to just send him on to first grade last year. And it's still kind of always a question in the back of our head.
I'm like, how do you feel like it's going? You feel like you made the right choice, or you're still on the fence?
Yeah, I think I'm still on the fence.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maturity-wise, he's doing fine. I'm getting used to, like, you know, some kids are better test takers than others. And I feel like
that's at any age.
Yes. So it's going.
And he's currently in first?
He's currently in second. So he did first last year. So he's 7.
Okay, well, I feel like first is the hardest.
Yeah.
Truly, that was such a big jump, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For
Kindergarten
both
to
of your
first.
kids.
Okay.
So I'm feeling like if he made it through first, okay, then
Yeah. Okay.
looking good.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
Yes.
knock on wood.
So, and then I've got Aspen, who's 5, so Moose's age, and then my youngest is Ellery. She's 3.
Oh, so cute.
Yes.
Is she in like a daycare?
She's at Red Barn.
Okay, so she's
I'm at
there
Victoria.
too. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, she's doing well, and she's honestly my easiest one. I mean, she's so chill. Like, I give her a piece of broccoli, she eats it. Like, I'm like, what? Like, whereas Aspen, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
So yeah, every kid is just very different. So that's why I'm so interested in that birth order book, because
it is interesting. I think, do I have it?
I was going to say, if we have it, we've got to bring it to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I think I got it back, right?
Because I know we
passed
shared it.
around.
Yeah, we shared it along the way.
I'll have to get it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so interesting.
They all are pretty close in age, so which makes it challenging. Sometimes I'm like, did we do something wrong? Like, why did we have them so
Did you
close
always
together?
want 3?
I did. I had one younger brother growing up, still to this day, obviously. But he's 7 years younger than I am, and
That's
her
the same.
sister.
yeah. Okay. And I just feel like you just lead 2 different lives. Yes.
Because 7 years is a huge difference when you're little. You're not doing the same things at all.
No.
And she's older now, so we have more things in common, but it's not aligning like I feel like what I see with my kids.
Right.
Who are 2 years apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely wanted to do the opposite of what I experienced growing up. It's so interesting. Like, I feel like so many of the experiences that I had growing up, like, I wanted to do differently now as a parent. Whether it turns out to be good or, not, we will find out, I suppose. But
I think about that too. I'm like, if I did it different for shorter, are my kids going to grow up and
Go back to 7 years?
Right.
Just because it's not what you had. So you want to try something new.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's why we just wanted to have, 3 and have them a little bit closer in age and have them at least have like built-in friends.
Right.
Too. So yeah, we're still on this like crazy journey. So
yeah.
How do you feel like they get along, boy versus 2 girls?
Well, I think more of like the personalities kind of play into it, to be honest. Ellery, she's like my easy, like chill.
She's Remy, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, I have like her together with her and Aspen, great. Ellery and Max, great. But it's when I have the 3 of them that...
Or like Aspen and Max together.
Aspen and Max, like, they butt heads.
Yeah, because you said 2 firstborns. They're both trying to be in charge a little.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it is challenging because they do butt heads, but I'm sure other parents kind of go through that too.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, my situation can't be that unique.
So as far as your job, did you always know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
No. Oh my gosh, no. I feel like there's so much pressure, like when you're in high school, like
to
just
pick
and do something. So actually, I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. for the longest time, and my parents were always like super supportive of anything I wanted to do. So I actually got my private pilot's license like in high school.
How cool.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. And then I got accepted to an aviation school, and I was in the program for 2 years and loved it. But then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this, like for a career.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
This is a great hobby.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like you have to really get along with the people that you work with. I think that's really important. And I was one of the few girls in the aviation program, and a lot of the guys, is it bad to say, are D-bags in aviation?
No.
Just like how you would picture a pilot to
Totally.
be.
Yeah.
Totally. That's
Like
exactly
fits
how
the
they
stereotype.
work. Fits the stereotype, 100%. And I was like, I can't picture myself like working with these
Forever.
kind of guys
Yeah.
forever. Like, I just want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Be nice. Like, I don't want to, have to hang out and listen to these, like,
Be lonely in company. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was part of it too. And I remember having a point, like, when I was away at college, and I called my dad crying because, like, I felt bad. I was the firstborn, and, like, always, like, accepted responsibility, for so much.
It's a table of firstborns, yes.
Okay, you guys
get
get it. Okay. And I called my dad, and I was like bawling, and I was like, Dad, I don't know if I want to continue. And the aviation program was expensive.
I can only imagine.
Like, I knew how much money that they had
Yeah.
helped pay for college, which I was so grateful. And my dad was so supportive. He's like, that's okay. Just gonna go through the course catalog book. And so I literally, like, I really prayed about it, and I opened up the course catalog book, and I found nutrition, and I was like, you know what? I'll take a class. See if I like it. And I was always a swimmer growing up. Like, that was like my sport. I swam club, and our coach like always kind of talked about nutrition, but it was like really nothing more than just like, eat right, like
Fuel your body.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But I do remember those kind of conversations.
They stuck with you.
Yeah. So I took a class in the summer, and I loved it. Like, I really connected with the girls in the program. They were all like so nice, and I felt like we just like all got along really well. I felt like good about that career path because I was like, I'm helping people, like I can have really fun conversations with people and like feel like I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It's just like good for your soul too,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. Yeah, just like everything worked out. I met with the whatever you call it, chairperson of the department, and I worked it out. I worked my butt off, and I still was able to graduate within 4 years. And
Oh, awesome.
Oh, you were killing it then.
Yeah.
did everything the firstborn should do, right?
That's right.
No matter what it took.
No other
No matter what it
option.
took. Yes. One summer taking like 3 classes over the summer.
And where did you go to school?
So I did my undergrad at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and then I ended up going to grad school at Arizona State University, Phoenix, Arizona. So I wanted to just do something different, get out of Illinois for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Did you like Arizona?
I did, but it's too hot.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
People decorate their cactuses like with Christmas lights.
No.
I'm like,
So you got your fill.
I got my fill.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked it. There's so much to do. Like, the shopping's great. Like, so much to do. The hiking's great. That was all really fun, really pretty, but it was just too hot. And then moved back, and I joined a adult master's swim team, and I actually met my husband through that.
Oh,
so we
cool.
met swimming. So it was kind of a fun connection that way, and have had a few different jobs as a dietitian, but I really like the field. And again, like, there's so much you can really do, like, from, helping kids to helping adults. And again, it's not like about, a strict diet per se. It's, kind of meeting people with where they're at with, I have lots of conversations, with people that are anywhere from like have irritable bowel syndrome to diabetes to somebody that might be 400 pounds to food allergies. I have a side job where I work with the early intervention program. It's like a birth through 3 program. So I'm still connected with the state of Illinois' early intervention program. And I work with families that have kiddos 0 to 3. It's a federal program.
Yeah.
So I really love it.
Oh, that's really neat. You know, we have a lot of questions to ask about kids.
Sure.
And
food and eating.
food and nutrition.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like there's obviously a stigma sometimes around what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. And like with kids, you want to know that they're getting something healthy and portray that message. But then you don't want it to be too far and make it about anything other, like especially not weight or anything like that.
Of course.
So I feel like I have felt that about my kids since they've been born. Like, how can we get some good food?
Right.
Not talk about weight, but also like not give them a complex.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so many different things that you could do. So like just for example, like so say for instance your kiddo is not loving fruit or a certain kind of fruit, for instance. Like I feel like a lot of times it's like trying to like make it fun and again not forcing, you know, food on kids because you never want to like force anything on kids. It should be, you know, the kid like being okay with like eating it. But just making it really fun. So you could put different fruit on like little shish kebab ways, like little chopsticks. That's kind of fun. Muffin trays too, where you can like put different kinds of foods. It's always good to introduce like a food that you would like the kid to eat alongside a fruit or a food, any kind of food that you know for sure that the kid will eat. Okay. So at least there's like some safe food, whether it's a couple butter noodles, you know, alongside a piece of broccoli. Okay. Or a cucumber or what have you.
So do you ask them to try it or only if they want to try it?
Yeah, so a few things depending on the age of the kiddos. So there's a few different things. Like if the kid does not want to try it and I ask like, hey, like, do you want to try it? Let's try it. And if they say no, I ask them to like at least give it a kiss. Because again, like you're not forcing the kid to try it. You're asking them to like give it a little kiss. Like you get the texture on your lips.
Yeah,
the texture.
Yeah. And then the kid smells it, touching it. So a lot of times like kids touch everything, right? So very messy.
Everything.
Yeah. But then just by touching like say broccoli or cucumbers or what have you, a small little taste will get onto their lips and onto their tongue even if they're not actually taking a bite of it. So that can be one thing. Some other ideas can be finger painting with some of the different like vegetables and fruit. Again, like you're not telling them to eat it. You're like, hey, let's just play with it. Let's make this like a super neutral kind of thing and let's just like have fun with it.
Okay. What about with a little bit older kids? I know y'all's kids are the same age. I have an 11 and 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And they are still pretty picky.
Okay, you are also pretty picky. So if we want to jump to adults as well.
No, I am. I am super picky. Victoria's made me try some stuff.
No, I have.
But
It's good. It's good.
Like a fruit. Like name a fruit. She doesn't like it.
And I will try it and I don't care for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Not all at the same time. But like, again, let me try this again.
Yeah.
See what I think.
You do, however, once she finds food that she likes, she has no problem eating it on repeat indefinitely.
Months.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
So if it's something good, I'm like, yes, I'm doing good today. With these blueberries or
whatever wins.
is.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like with older kiddos, so some things I'll talk about is like as we get older, like our taste buds change. And like we as adults know that things that you didn't like as a kid, now you have a little bit more of a refined palate. Like you're okay eating X, Y, or Z. But with kiddos, you can talk about taste buds like on your tongue and you can actually show them like, hey, look in the mirror, like look at all these like little dots on your tongue. As you're growing, as you get bigger, your taste buds, you're actually getting new taste buds. So maybe you didn't have that taste bud for whatever it was yesterday, but maybe you have that taste bud for today. So let's just give it a try.
Try it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would suggest kind of going that avenue and then again too, talking about as kiddos get older and also talking about like kids are in any kind of activities like sports or things like that, which a lot of kids are.
Yeah.
You can also talk about how maybe their favorite athlete or whatnot, how they eat. What do you think, whoever your favorite athlete, like what do you think they eat?
Right.
To be able to perform their best.
Right, like an
It's
NFL
probably not a
player.
Hot Pocket.
Yeah, right. Exactly, not an Easy Mac.
Yes, exactly. So kind of going that route. Sometimes too, kids don't always listen the greatest to their own parents, right? Like I definitely feel that way.
100%. You've met my child.
Yes, and you've met mine, and they listen great, right? No. So, and I think that's why another reason like building a mom community is so like important is sometimes you can have like those little conversations, like ask like the other parent, like, hey, do you mind kind of talking about this? Like just in a different, like more neutral kind of informal way when we're all getting together versus the parent actually saying it. Because sometimes it does come across a little bit better from somebody else.
No, I agree.
I agree.
For sure, they would listen to somebody else over me.
I'm just thinking about myself growing up. I would have listened to anyone else.
Right.
Because like when your parent talks to you about it, it's like cringy.
Right.
But if
You feel like you're almost getting lectured.
I feel like I'm in trouble,
Yes.
even if I'm not. You're having a casual conversation, but I feel like impending doom.
You were exactly like Emma. That's how she feels.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I need to eat that. Okay, I'm in trouble now.
Right. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, it's going to be a conversation about homework. And it's like, well, great. How well did that conversation go?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to know your thoughts on when some people say you have to eat 3 more bites of that before you can get up. Type of situation.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Okay.
So I always advocate for at least trying one bite of, what's offered. And I do believe in like, offering like a balanced plate. So always trying to offer like a good, half your plate, lots of good fruits, veggies, like plant-based kinds of foods. Quarter of your plate, some sort of protein, like more chicken, turkey, fish. So I always like to talk about, more of the unprocessed meat. So I've met so many hunters, like since moving down here.
Yeah.
I've never met so many hunters like before in my entire life.
Yes.
But one of the things I talk about is like, okay, if you went to go out and like to hunt an animal, if you were able to like cut that meat from the animal and eat it, then great, like eat that. But you can't cut a hot dog from a pig,
You sure can't.
You can't cut Spam. Like I hear people eating Spam,
I do not, but I've been seeing it.
Yes. You can't cut bologna from a pig. I mean, that's a really great question of where bologna comes from. I don't even know.
It's a combination.
We may
surely.
not want to know.
It's manufactured. It's not an animal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So the gist is like as much, at least unprocessed as possible for the protein. And then quarter of your plate, some sort of like carbohydrate kind of food.
Now, I am try everything, like you said, try everything on your plate. I am not a take 3 more bites, take 2 more bites.
Right.
You're gonna try this. Like, I'm not yelling and screaming.
No.
But if you tried everything on your plate, or let's say you didn't try everything on your plate because you are just adamant you don't like it without ever trying it.
Yeah.
That is your bedtime snack when you come down in 30 minutes hungry.
Right. Right. Yep.
You feel good about that?
I do feel good about that. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you do want to make sure it's like something that like that they've eaten in the past.
Right, like you said, like at least one thing on the plate that's a safe food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah,
because when you're telling me you don't like chicken, lies.
Right. Exactly.
You're like, you liked it yesterday.
It's been your favorite for 6 months.
Yes, absolutely. And then sometimes kids just get so distracted when they're eating too, and then they want to just get up and go play. So yeah, I think that's a great strategy of, okay, just save the plate. And then if you're hungry later on, like, okay, here's
your plate.
Here's your plate.
Not your snacks.
Right, right. Yep.
How do you feel about bedtime snacks? in general?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I think it depends on like the kiddo's activity for the day, because sometimes like snacks, like when the kids like ask for bedtime snacks or evening snacks, and you know, like, are you really hungry or are you just bored? Like there is that difference too.
Oh, I know that as an adult. I'm bored.
Of course. Of course. I think that's human nature, right? Like looking in the cupboard, like sometimes I catch my husband like looking in the cupboard or the fridge and like nothing's changed.
Right.
Like
Same view.
I haven't gotten the store yet. Yeah. I'm sorry. Same as like an hour ago when you last checked. But yeah, so I think it depends on the activity level. And I think like, you know, you as a parent know like, okay, is your kid like actually hungry or are they just bored? I mean, obviously if a kid's hungry, like feed them, of course. Yes. But if they're more just bored, like kind of redirect like, hey, let's read a bedtime story, or hey, let's like sit down and kind of do this activity, and just kind of give some other like non-food options. There's a lot of childhood obesity going on too, and it really breaks my heart just what I see like kids being offered in general, and kids like eating and drinking on a regular basis, and I'm all for like sometimes kind of foods for things like that. I kind of view like some of those sugary kinds of snacks and whatnot as sometimes foods. Like, you know, we have ice cream in our freezer, but it's a sometimes kind of thing. We don't need to do dessert every night.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I tell my kids like they're sometimes foods. We want to have like, you know, always foods like fruits, vegetables are good proteins, things like that. And again, some days are better than others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it all fluctuates.
It does.
Like, do we have 4 ball games this week? We're probably not going to do as great.
Right. Exactly.
And I stole your term because I know one day we were at the playground, we were talking about this, and you used the word sometimes foods. And so I have now incorporated that.
I love that.
Because I was just like, Mason's like, can I have a popsicle? And I'm like, no, not today. And he's just like, what day is it? I'm like, it's Tuesday. He's like, so why can't I have popsicles on Tuesdays? So I'm like, it's a sometimes food. Like, now I have a phrase to put on it for him.
I love that.
So I have been using that with him.
Nice.
Because you know how smart he is. He will, like, find every loophole.
He is very smart.
Yeah, it's scary.
Nice kiddo.
Okay, so do you feel like the phrase breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Like, do you agree with that? Disagree?
Yes, I do agree, especially for kids. Kiddos' carbohydrate needs are actually higher compared to adults, because if you think about it, like in a kiddo's lifespan from like 0 to like 18, I mean, they do so much growing in between that time span, and as, you know, we adults, you know, we're not growing any taller.
Yep.
Maxed out.
Yeah.
Maxed out. Yep, exactly. So their carbohydrate needs are actually a lot higher compared to adults, and all carbohydrates break down into glucose in the body. Glucose is actually your brain's primary fuel source. So a lot of times, like if kids are really cranky or irritable or upset, and chances are like they probably need some sort of good quality carbohydrates.
Not Lucky Charms.
Right.
She said good quality.
Just want to clarify.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So whether it's, you know, like oatmeal, like, you know, there's like whole grain, like kind of pancake mixes out there that are nice options. There are like whole grain cereals. I mean, for better or for worse, like we make our kids breakfast every single morning, like a hot breakfast.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of work.
What do you make? I need to know what y'all have for breakfast.
Yeah, so we actually got all of our kids just used to, I buy this brand, I actually have it on Amazon, like delivery, Better Oats oatmeal. It's high fiber, like it has way more of the B vitamins, all the good whole grains in it compared to like Quaker oats. So we make them that for breakfast every single morning. A lot of times we'll either do like the Kodiak cake pancake mixes, or I'll do French toast, which is actually super simple. I just buy like the Dave's like
Killer bread.
Grain. Yep. Crack an egg, add a dash of cinnamon, little milk. Yeah. Soak it. And it's good, like protein plus whole grains. And yeah, kids love the French toast every morning too.
I would.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Do you do
good.
syrup with your French toast?
We do a little bit of maple syrup. So how we do it is I found these like super cheap like little cups,
cute.
plastic cups from Target, and I just pour like a little bit of syrup in those cups and like give them.
They can do like a
kids.
dip.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can do a dip or like dump it, whatever they
Okay.
want to do.
Okay.
So it's like portioned. Here you go. Like this is yours. No more syrup to put away. We're done. And I just buy the 100% pure maple syrup.
I was going to ask, what is like your stance on like artificial sweeteners, like high fructose corn syrup, stevia, like good? Well, obviously not good, but are some worse than others?
Yeah, so I kind of put those all in the category of like sometimes kind of foods because again, like birthday parties, like things like that, you know, it's really hard to like get away from it all
Completely,
together,
yeah.
completely, right? And you don't want to, you know, at least me, like I don't want my kid to like go to a birthday party and be like, oh, I can't have that, like
Right.
my mom doesn't let me.
I can't have that type of lemonade.
Right, right. Or Halloween, like my mom's not putting out candy, like, or I can't eat this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
But as far as like groceries that you're bringing in to keep
Yeah.
in your home, do you like read labels and we aren't doing high fructose corn syrup? Are there certain things you look for in your home?
Right, and no dyes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
dyes.
Yeah. I try not to do any kind of dyes whatsoever in my house. I try to limit added sugars. I do keep snacks in our cupboard. Some of the snacks have some added sugars in them, but it's like a once a week kind of thing for like weekend kind of games. And, you know, Max is in football,
Right.
Aspen's doing cheer. So I have to have some sort of snacks. But if it's my turn to bring snacks, like I actually made like the fruit shish kebabs for
Oh,
the
yeah,
cheer
cute.
like snacks, and like the little girls loved them. They ate them. It was great. But the artificial sugars, yeah, really not the greatest. Like if you think about like Gatorade Zero, which is like such a common thing, I've been seeing like all the kids drinking that, and like even Prime. I see it every day where it's like you just are out in public and you see kiddos like that are shorter and, you know, like chubbier. And I mean, again, like, you know, health at every size for sure. But we want to set the kids up for success in life. And I feel like it's just, you know, setting those healthy habits at home. I think it can be really challenging to kind of get beyond like your own thinking. Because like there's certain foods like we all don't like, right? Like we can all be picky within our own selves too. But trying to hide like our own personal views on certain foods and just being like okay with like, yeah, we're gonna have this, like
Right.
no matter if like you're inside or like I'm not gonna eat that, but setting this as like an example, like hey, this is like what we're gonna do. Like family dinner is so important. A lot of research is coming out talking about like the importance of family dinners and setting kids up for success. Just with general healthy eating, you know, meeting all those milestones developmentally,
That makes
physically,
sense
everything.
to me. You're getting in to talk with your family and have certain downtime set. Like you said, they're not rushing off to go do something else because y'all are all
Right.
doing it
Right.
together.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you feel about protein shakes if my son's 11 and thinks he needs that for baseball?
I would ask him first, like, are you getting enough protein from the foods that you're eating? Because yeah, so I would start with that first.
Okay.
And kind of ask the question like, okay, again, like, what do you think your favorite baseball player, you know, what do you think that they eat? Because a lot of now these days, which I'm all for, all the major sports teams like all have dietitians like on board, which I love. Like they have the meal planning, all of that. So what do you think they're eating? And a lot of them actually have books too that they've written about like what, and they incorporate like what I eat. You know?
I was gonna say I bet I could Google so and so's diet or
Not just the protein drink, maybe they
Right.
sponsor.
right. And if I showed him that, I feel like he would be so open to it.
Yeah.
Especially over me.
Right. Right. So So I think that's a really good way to kind of get into it. Also too, like depending on like how much kids weigh and again activity levels and things like that, so is going to determine like how much protein like they actually need for the entire day. And again, it can be really easy if you're strategic enough to get more protein than you realize just from the foods that you're eating. And it is better to actually get it from the food. Protein powders have their place, absolutely. But with kids, there's a lot of extra fillers and additives with those protein powders that I'd rather not see
Steer
kids.
clear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When they get to be like 16, 17, 18, different story.
Okay.
But younger than 16, they're still developing. You don't need like all the added things in there.
Does the protein metabolize, process differently if it's from food or a shake?
Yeah, good question. So your body can only process so much protein at a time. So typically adults can only process like roughly 35 grams of protein at a time. Anything in excess of like I'd say 35 grams of protein is kind of a waste. So you really want to time. That's like if you've heard the phrase like nutrient timing kind of comes into play too, and especially for athletes. So the key time like when you want that protein / carbohydrate, a lot of people forget about the carbs. Like carbs are like the devil in today's society.
And not like a pairing.
Yeah. Right. So you actually want a good combination of like carbohydrates and protein like right after the activity, because that actually helps increase your liver's glycogen stores. So then going into that next activity, your body can actually be its best. And glycogen is actually stored glucose. So glucose, again, like you want that. So if you ever think about like, a marathoner or someone like that, they have those little carbohydrate gels that keeps your body going, that keeps your energy up throughout the day. So you want that protein carbohydrate. It's not just protein that you want. It's that
balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about your kids' lunches? They buy at school or do you pack?
Good question. So I am human. And I have 3 kids. So.
No, that's fine. Whatever you're about to say.
We both do both.
Yeah.
I do both as well. Yeah. In a perfect world, if I was, stay-at-home mom, did all the things, had a farm, all the things, I would, have this picture perfect lunch and whatnot. But we live in a very busy world and, we're all trying to juggle a lot of different things. And again, some days are better than others. And some days at the end of the day, I'm like, my kids were fed.
Yes.
Fed and alive.
Yes.
Check.
Yes. Exactly.
And you said like your perfect world, the farm and all that.
Right.
You were homeschooled.
Yes.
And you chose not to homeschool your kids.
Yes.
You did not like homeschool.
I did not.
I just wanted to touch on this for a minute.
Yes.
Is it because you're a people person, like you need people around, or was it something else?
I think it was a combination. So I was not always the people person.
Okay.
I was actually very introverted growing up. Like I was the opposite of what you see today.
Okay.
And I felt like I really missed out, to be honest, like growing up. And I felt like I wished I had more opportunities to like make friends, have the stereotypical normal like childhood experience. Yeah, like I saw kids like riding the bus and like, hanging out with friends, and I didn't have that. And yeah, there's like homeschool co-ops and things like that. And I mean, I turned out okay. Like, but I did not love it. And transitioning from like being homeschooled to then my parents had me go to like a private Christian high school. I mean, I enjoyed that experience and like I really liked that high school, but it was a really hard transition.
I'm sure. At that age.
Yes.
Right.
I was so awkward. I went through like the most awkward stage ever. Like I'm mortified to look at pictures. like who am I?
Most people call that middle school.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what middle school is for.
Yes. Okay, I'm glad it's not just me then.
No, we just actually had to do it real life with people in middle school, and it was terrible for everyone across the board.
I've never heard anybody say they loved middle school.
No.
Yeah. But this was like high school for me. Like
Yeah, but
ninth
like
to 10th.
transitioning from homeschool, I feel like you'd get middle school vibes the first year at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to doing things how we want them done and not
Right.
for our kids and not what we had done.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then after going to like a Christian high school, and then I went to Southern Illinois University, which is like very night and day.
Okay.
Different. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's something that I really wanted my kids to, have. If I felt like the public school was good and, a safe place and where they're going to learn and be around other kids that are good kids, like good families, all of those sorts of things. Yeah, I want them to have those experiences.
Yeah.
I want them to be well-rounded, be able to talk to all different kinds of kids. So I think that's important. So
I do too. Okay, well, this is so good. Seriously, thank you for answering all the questions.
Absolutely.
Love you being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone, don't forget to follow and subscribe on our Apple, Spotify, and our Instagram account. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.